Trump's real desire to be very strong, as he sees it, on deporting people who he thinks should not be in the country, people who've entered illegally, and the court saying, actually, we have rule of law in this country, and this really matters to us, that process is respected, that the president doesn't have the authority to just do exactly what he wants. The Supreme Court, yes, it was a little bit nuanced in that, with the idea that Trump should facilitate, as you said, the return of Abrego Garcia. But the judge who is overseeing that case in Maryland is really unimpressed with the way that the administration is handling it. And she is also threatening to escalate this because she believes that the administration is not complying at all.
And it's funny you should mention El Salvador and the president of that country accommodating, well, a couple of hundred deportees from the United States of America, because this is a bit of breaking news. Literally, as we're speaking here in America, a judge has said that he could hold the administration, the Trump administration, in contempt of court for willful disregard of his order to halt the departure of those deportation flights to El Salvador. We are joined now on the line by Harriet Alexander, journalist in New York City. Hello to you, Harriet. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, John. Never a dull moment around here.
Never. It always kicks off at about this time in the evening, Harriet. Tell us more about this story.
Yeah, so this is something that has been brewing for several weeks. Ever since Donald Trump deported a lot of Venezuelans to El Salvador, there was a massive row at the time because a judge tried to get an emergency injunction on this, saying that it had not been done lawfully, and ordered that the planes return to the United States. Now, these planes did not. The White House says that by the time the order was issued, the planes had already left U.S. airspace, so there was nothing they could do. The judge who sits in D.C., James Boasberg, he has taken a very dim view of this, and he's been arguing that this was willfully obstructed. And just now he's issued a 46-page ruling suggesting that the Trump administration could be held in contempt of court for failing to abide by his rulings.
Right. So that's on the face of it, a pretty dark threat. But I know this story is just breaking, so maybe there's a limit to what we know at this point. But for a judge to say that they could be held in contempt isn't the same as saying you are being held in contempt, let alone what you're going to do about it if you are in contempt. So what does this mean? Is it a threat saying that they could be hauled up? I say they. We're talking about the administration here, hauled up in front of him, in front of his court, if they do not just reverse this policy now. What does the judge want to see now to avert this threat?
No, I mean, you're right, John, that it's not specific. I think that's intentional because this has never really been done before. There has never been a sitting president of the United States who's been held in contempt of court. So we're really kind of treading new ground here. What it means, essentially, is that Boasberg has given the administration the opportunity to what is termed as cure this situation. He doesn't specify how that could be done, but it's believed to be that what could happen is you could essentially give these migrants some restoration of their rights. They could be allowed to, for example, to sort of challenge their deportation in the courts. That could be seen as some sort of way of curing this wrong. But then if the Justice Department ignores it again, which they may well do, I mean, Donald Trump almost uniquely has this attitude that his Justice Department reports to him. Previous presidents have always been pretty scrupulous in maintaining the independence of the Justice Department. But for Trump, they report to him. If the Justice Department ignores this ruling, then Boasberg has said that he is willing to appoint another judge to the case who will go through it again, because this is really a matter of principle for them. And
this is also against the background, Harriet, isn't it, of the case of the Maryland man who was sent off to this El Salvador prison, accused of being a Venezuelan drug gangster. He claims he's nothing of the kind, but a court said he should be returned, or at least said the government, the administration, should facilitate his return. And since then, the president of El Salvador has said he can't do that, and he won't do that. So we've got a standoff there. We're seeing the authority of the court being tested very hard by the administration.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's a similar but separate case, but essentially dealing with some of the same kind of issues. Trump's real desire to be very strong, as he sees it, on deporting people who he thinks should not be in the country, people who've entered illegally, and the court saying, actually, we have rule of law in this country, and this really matters to us, so that process is respected, that the president doesn't have the authority to just do exactly what he wants. The Supreme Court, yes, it was a little bit nuanced in that, with the idea that Trump should facilitate, as you said, the return of Abrego Garcia. But the judge who is overseeing that case in Maryland is really unimpressed with the way that the administration is handling it. And she is also threatening to escalate this because she believes that the administration is not complying at all.
Okay, Harriet Alexander, as always, lovely to talk to you, Harriet. Let's talk again soon. I'm guessing that we probably will, probably this time tomorrow, with who knows what story.
I'd like to go a step further. I mean, I said it to Pam. I don't know what the laws are. We always have to obey the laws, but we also have homegrown criminals that push people into subways, that hit elderly ladies on the back of the head with a baseball bat when they're not looking, that are absolute monsters. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country, but you'll have to be looking at the laws on that, Steve, okay?
You mentioned that you're open to deporting individuals that aren't foreign aliens but are criminals to El Salvador. Does that include potentially U.S. citizens, fully naturalized Americans?
If they're criminals and if they hit people with baseball bats over their head that happen to be 90 years old, and if they rape 87-year-old women in Coney Island, Brooklyn, yeah, that includes them. What, do you think there's a special category of person? They're as bad as anybody that comes in. We have bad ones too. And I'm all for it. Because we can do things with the president for less money and have great security. And we have a huge prison population. We have a huge number of prisons, and then we have the private prisons, and some are operated well, I guess, and some aren't. But he does a great job with that. We have others that we're negotiating with too. But no, if it's a homegrown criminal, I have no problem. Now, we're studying the laws right now. Pam is studying. If we can do that, that's good. And I'm talking about violent people. I'm talking about really bad people. Really bad people. Every bit as bad as the ones coming in. And I made the statement when I heard about this a long time ago now, 4 years ago.
I didn't realize you.